The movement isn't over. In fact, I'd say that the movement's just started. You know, when we created our first video saying the problems with Axie Infinity, we felt like our story really resonated with a lot of people. And that story really is just transparency. And we understand that, you know, in an age where business owners don't exactly want to give a lot of information, that wouldn't make any sense. However, Axie Infinity isn't just a business. Axie Infinity is an economy which is robust, an economy which has a community behind it, an economy which is run by the people. Yes, Axie Infinity is centralized, but we should think of Axie Infinity as decentralized in the aspect that, you know, people like Bryson, people like KG, people like Axie on the Moon, these are the people that run Axie Infinity. Now, yes, you know, Psychout and Jihos deserve their place, you know, because they made this incredible game, but we cannot take from the fact that the community is what runs this game, and the community should be heard. You know, things like transparency, things that, you know, inform people in a game that has over 1.6 million people, I feel, is just a basic request and a basic right that we should have. You know, not everybody is going to dig deep. Not everybody is going to buy a Mystic. Not everybody is going to be in the inner circle. So I feel like in this video, we're going to clarify a little bit about the things that, you know, may have been misconstrued in our part and, you know, some of the faults that we have had as well as others. With that being said, let's get into it. In terms of Axie Mania Guild, we had started it in the search for, you know, really having a scholarship program that worked for managers to find scholars. You know, when we started and we got managers on board with our videos, what a lot of managers asked us was, hey, are you going to be taking anything away from us? Hey, are you going to be using us for something? We actually did everything voluntarily, and we felt like, you know, we have to give back to the community that made everything possible. Well, I did cash out most of my assets by early August, you know, when that first SLP dip happened. I think it was like 20 cents. That's totally irrelevant because I still kept up with getting new scholars into managers' hands, and I feel like that should not be forgotten, right? When we quit, we didn't just leave our scholars. We left our scholars in the right hands with people that we knew we could trust, with people that, you know that they have an impact in the world by helping the Filipinos, by helping Indians, by helping Venezuelans. It doesn't matter because to me, that's the beauty of Axie Infinity, that it represents everybody on the planet, and crypto does that as well. You know, when I traded stocks, it was only people from the US, maybe, you know, some Chinese counterparts that I traded with as a consultant. But, you know, in Axie Infinity, I know I'm speaking with somebody that could be half across the planet. You know, it could be over at Asia, it could be over at Europe. Even Africans are being educated in this game, and people should not forget on that. With that being said, we did leave our scholars in the right hands. With the people saying that I didn't sell my Axies or whatever, yes, my brother does have scholars, and in my initial video, that was the account of my brother. We did play Axie Infinity together at first, which I think really reemphasizes the need for community because, you know, as brotherly brothers, we have that bond, and I think that everybody in the Axie Infinity community should have that as well.
So I wanted to clarify a couple of things for me and Classy here. I noticed there was some confusion within the community about why we ended up selling our Axies in the first place. So I just want to mention that we didn't want to represent an uninviting figurehead when having reasonable questions. And that's a very, very important thing I need to note is they were questions and not demands. A lot of people are also making them out to be demands when in reality, what we wanted to do is we wanted to sit down with some of the developers and ask questions that some of the other community members didn't want to ask because maybe they wanted to save head and they didn't really want to look a certain way. And me and Classy had a lot of community members that would ask us every single day, a lot of questions that we felt were reasonable. So we wanted to bring that to the attention of developers because we felt that it would make sense to have answers for a lot of these things. And for yourself, Classy, did you want to add anything to that yourself?
Yeah, of course. Like with that being said, I feel like the level of trust really deteriorates if somebody's, you know, asking reasonable questions. And I understand that developers don't have to respond, but I mean, if you do respond to your community, you have to respond to your community in a manner, you know, which is civil, which is constructive, because we are trying to make a community out to be positive. You know, everybody in Axie is talking about, hey, you know, I love SLP and I love this and that. That shouldn't be the tone of the conversation. We should be talking about community, about events. You know, you guys are focusing on esports, so we should make it out to be that way. I mean, I understand, Psychout, that you're stressed out, that, you know, you have a lot of things to work on, but I feel like people deserve answers once, you know, you make comments saying, hey, you know, you should just sell your assets. Like, I understand. This shouldn't be treated as an investment. Just like you've said, Axie Infinity is revolutionizing the space. Axie Infinity is a game But we must not forget that Axie Infinity's community is the reason that everything happened, and they are forgiving by nature, so there's always that chance that, we could get back, we can get back to where we were before, we can get back to a place where everything is healthy in dialogue, and I'm sure that when Axie Infinity first started, you had the time to talk to your community members and really feel out exactly what they were thinking. I feel like just because you have 1.6 billion people does not mean that you have the right to do what you've been doing and saying, like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, just get out of our game if you don't like it. You should be like, hey, I understand your concern, but, this is what we're doing about it. And thank you for, taking the time and taking the effort, really, because content creators put a lot of time in the things that they're doing. And we put a lot of thought into this. Just, a little bit of appreciation for really what we're doing would be great. Because if I had criticism for somebody, or somebody has criticism for me, if it's constructive, you should listen to it and you should build on it. Just like you said, we should be building. Those who build, build. And criticism should not be seen as something that cannot be done. It should be something that, builds on top of what you're building.
All right, so moving on to the next point now, I want to kind of explain a little bit as to why our questions were reasonable, and it kind of addressed some of the people that maybe thought that it wasn't, just because, I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, we do have some real life examples of, what we were talking about, just so we can clarify exactly what we meant. So when we go over to the screen here, we can see that, some games like Illuvium, for example, they'll be providing daily art updates within their Discord server for everybody to see. And this is something that they do daily. They just provide images, progress of art that they're working on so that the players can get excited. And that's something that we really want to work on and make sure that, is happening a little bit more in the Axie Infinity space, because that's not something that we see at all. There will be an announcement of 70% new card art that has been finished, but we won't even see a single card, so we don't even truly know if it's actually happening behind the scenes. So I don't think it's too unreasonable to say, like, hey, maybe tease a little bit of card art. And I don't think that's going to cause any market manipulation, because it's just artwork. We're not talking about market prices, SLP fluctuation in any way. This has nothing to do with currency. This is instead just to do with art and what's being designed behind the scenes, which is awesome to see. We want to see more of that. Some other projects do this as well, such as Crypto Raiders, which you will see here as well. They do provide this very, very frequently. And these games are earlier in development than Axie Infinity, but Axie Infinity is developing a whole new game. So we have to remind ourselves that land gameplay is going to be a whole new atmosphere within the game. And there's going to be things like this that are available for us to see every single day. And I just want people to be excited. I want people to see what's happening behind the scenes a little bit, just so that we can build the confidence. These games, they don't care about anyone copying them, because they're doing it first, and Axie Infinity did it first as well, so there's no reason for us to be scared about anything. And Classy, did you want to add anything to that?
Of course. So from an economic standpoint, we also have to think about the fact that, of course, yes, initially there may be some sort of hype in the game, but I feel like market manipulation in terms of people just getting excited for a product shouldn't really be taken as such. I mean, technically it could be considered, but I mean, it's not about the hype. It's about informing players as to, like, exactly what's going on with your game. It's not that we hate the developers. It's not that we don't trust them. It's not, even that we think that they're not working on something, because I'm sure they're working on things, and I'm sure they're working hard. I mean, it's clear to see that, things are being pushed out, right? And while the milestones may not be hit, or the ETAs may not be hit, we have to think about the fact that, a lot of games that are rushed out improperly with a ton of bugs and a ton of errors. But I feel like just, making us a little more excited as a community, as more together, than just like kind of like the devs just pushing out things like, here's your feature, man, I don't care about anything else. We have to think about it as like, oh my god, this new art thing came out, I can cover this as content or something, that we can all agree on that is sick and is awesome. And I'm sure that there's a lot of things that you can show to us that are completely awesome.
Okay, guys, so the final point we're going to address in today's video is we have been getting a fair amount of support from creators that have messaged us behind the scenes that do agree with what we're saying. And I just want to make sure that everybody who is out there that is a creator themselves or has a large following on Twitter feels free to also reach out to us. I know obviously not every creator is going to agree with what we say, because they maybe think that our message is different than what it actually is, which I totally understand. But We do have a lot of people that are looking to talk to us. There will be some really big things coming very soon in the near future here. We have some interviews that are going to be going on. And I just want to make sure that our inbox is open to you guys so that you can discuss with us as well, so that you feel open to having these conversations with us too at the end of the day. And if you don't, I totally understand too. This might not be the content everyone wants to get involved in. But yeah, take it away, Classy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel like everybody just needs to understand, there is love for Axie Infinity here, and there's love for blockchain gaming overall, and everybody that's thinking, hey, we're just spreading FUD here, it's not about the FUD, it's about just, expressing yourself, because yes, emotions get in the way of investments, but Axie Infinity isn't an investment. Axie Infinity is a community, and we should not think about it that way.
So our end goal here is transparency and understanding the developers and the players. We want a clean and a accepting atmosphere where people feel welcome and understood. We should all be open to critics so we can develop as a community, myself and Classy included.
Yeah, correct. I just feel like I just wanted to thank you all for watching this video. This topic means a lot to us. We grew up with this, and we grew up with the amazing opportunity to play this game, as I'm sure a lot of you have. I just wanted to thank you that for a second. A lot of content creators, you'll see us in the next few days. Stay safe, stay classy, and I'll see you on the next one.